What is your perception of this evolution? More personally.
I don't know, because there might be 500,000 translators and interpreters in the world, and I haven't met them all. I think what you have to do whenever there's a moment of disruption and change is to go out and find what's happening and get some data. And I'm really, really missing some empirical data about these questions. So what I've done, I've looked at the studies that have been carried out on what translators think about technologies in general, mainly machine translation, but also translation memories, and the studies are actually from before last November, so they don't deal with AI. I'm looking at Gabarov, who was here earlier today, Orrego Carmona, Cadwell, O'Brien, Teixeira, Lobley, Orrego Carmona, former doctoral students, by the way, not all of them, Flanagan, Madonna, Dolmeyer, and Brian Mossop especially. That comes out to about 500 people, okay? Now, translators, looking at the data, are really not against technology at all. But there are two things you've got to notice. One is generations. There's a big age difference there. People who got to the top of the profession with one technology sort of downplay the other technologies. I don't want other ladders getting to the top, and let's throw that away, okay? So Brian Mossop, a Korea translator for the Canadian government, was cited earlier. If you can't translate with a pen and paper, you can't translate. Fair enough, okay? But Brian, who's a very eloquent writer actually on this subject, just looks and he says, look, this use of memory, he's lumping all the technologies together as the use of memory, which is fair enough, I think. Databases, memory. He says, what you've done here is redefine quality. Fair enough. Quality has become a variable. Fair enough. Now find people who want to work like that. Good. Go and get them. But he says, I became a translator in order to translate, parentheses, compose suitable wordings in the target language, not to fix someone else's recycled wordings. And well said. That was his motivation. That's what he's done all his life. That's a noble way to proceed, and I have every respect for that. And then he recognizes this market is no longer for me. The generation younger than that, we do see signs of not rejection like that, but cognitive friction. It takes time to get used to it, and people have been adapting to it. People who had to start post-editing at first, no, never, this is not translation, we'll never do that, come back 2 years later and, hey, you know what? There are definite advantages to this. And we find that degree of acceptance. Now, the study on automation anxiety by Nunes Veira brings out this broad acceptance among the community that we can adapt, we are open-minded, the 500 people here, not the 500,000 out there that I haven't seen. But they don't mind the technologies. The anxiety concerns the business practices around them. This has come in, Neural came in a period of perceived declining prices for translations. It's in the interview data. I haven't seen reliable data for the actual payment of translators, but there was a perceived crisis there. And that was mapped on to the effect of the technology. Wrongly or badly, it doesn't matter. It's in the data, it's what perceived, and that produced the anxiety. What do you do with that anxiety? I'm sorry, it's not just explaining business to them, because they can figure out business a bit. It's a fact of automation. Since the first industrial revolution, automation across the board, not just computer automation, one of the main effects is wage dispersion. Wage dispersal. The people who work with it and control the technology and develop it get richer, and the rest stay where they are or get marginally poorer, and some jobs disappear. That is cause for anxiety in the community. Now, the way out of that, I suggest, is pretty obvious. It's to employ people for the new tasks that have been mentioned, content development, especially transcreation. These are good terms for very good jobs that can be done with the help of the technologies. But the bottom line is, I hear the word talent crunch a lot from people in the industry. Talent crunch, fair enough. You can't. You know what? If you want that talent, you have to pay good money for it. the business model. Thank you very much. You know, we understand business, but what we have to do is get these communicative talents that we do train people for, and get people to get up there and present themselves well and negotiate and go for the big money, because that's how business works. Sell yourself, sell the talents that you've got. People in business are aware that they need it. Thank you.